They're basically staged in 3 different areas.
And now they're moving
Alex,
in
here
on
it
the
comes.
seats.
They've come from left to right, and they're beginning to take protesters down. They're going to pull one out, pull the next one out, and they're going to arrest them one at a time. If you look straight ahead, the kid in the gray hat with the glasses there, I recognize that person as someone that's been here all along, and they're leading the chance right now. That's a protester who's been all along and is clearly ready to get arrested right now. But if you look over there to the left, some of these arrests are going down. There is some cursory, and I'll call it just that, if it is that, cursory resistance a little bit along the lines of what that young man was telling us about 15 minutes ago, that they would not go peacefully, that they would not go easily. So there was always some resistance to be expected, and the tough job here is the police's job at this point, to take these protesters apart, go ahead and book them, process them, and hopefully not hurt any of them. It's not an easy thing at all. Mike, Alex, you can hear helicopters overhead, which is strange, too, because there's a couple of news choppers up there, but you're literally less than a city block away from the University of Pennsylvania Hospital, and if they've got a medevac that needs to come in and out, that's going to be a factor as well. It's hard to see inside there. Here comes one now. There's one protester being led away, a young woman, probably the first one we're seeing, smiling in defiance, blowing kisses at the camera as she is led to one of those police vans, guys. Again, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. I'm just following my cameraman. Can I stick with him? I understand, sir, but Greg got past them. He walked by before he realized that the police didn't want him back there. He's got a very good shot of you of that young woman being loaded into the van, and he'll be brought back over to me. I'm certainly not going to be one of the ones getting loaded into that van this morning. I can tell you that for sure. But Greg will be backing off. Got a great shot of that young woman being booked, but there'll be another one coming out as well. As a matter of fact, if they book everybody sitting on that Ben Franklin statue right now, they're probably going to have 40 arrests this morning, and there'll be others from people that are intense, resisting in other ways.
Yeah, I saw a
police bus. On we go.
Transportation.
Let me get on the other side of this over here. Pardon me, sir. I'm sorry.
We saw a few buses, actually, and it's really
again, guys, the first contingent was the bicycle police. Next came the riot police. So now you're talking about between 200 and 300 police in total here in complete control of the situation. What looked like one thing about an hour ago is now something completely different, as all of our sources, all of the people telling us that these people would be arrested have come to pass. The encampment is being broken down today. Governor Shapiro asked for it to happen yesterday, and it's happening right now as this young woman has all of her pockets gone through, anything that might be a weapon or anything else, and you can see all of the nylon zip ties that these officers have. Again, standard operating procedure, standard gear for this kind of an operation. Mike, Alex.
How many cameras do we have out there, Hank? We have 2?
That might be a question for our producers. Okay, so the other one's not. Because right now, as we're watching people being put into the van, there are still another group of students who are at the statue who are being pulled off and also being arrested. So this is where they're being taken, but still there's some activity happening at the statue now.
In fact, a lot of activity at the statue, as a matter of fact. So they'll take them off the statue one at a time.
Which we saw a little bit earlier. And this is an interesting shift because earlier this week, it seemed to be united front when it comes to Philadelphia leaders because Mayor Parker, Police Commissioner Bethel, and also DA Larry Krasner, they said that they believe that the encampment in its current form should not be disbanded using force, and that they were hoping that Penn would be able to settle this matter peacefully. But then, I guess, within the last 24 hours, a number of things happened. The encampment expanded.
It did.
And that seemed to concern some folks. And also, the governor was asked about this, and the governor called for it to be disbanded. And so I think some things changed. And then also the Ben Franklin statue there, which I believe is where the protesters currently, some of them are, standing or, being unified there. They put some flags on it, and they put some tape over it, and so some were saying they defaced that statue. And so that may have escalated some things as well.
Yeah, as Alex mentioned, the governor, while he was out in Pittsburgh and Westmoreland County yesterday, said more rules in the last 24 hours, more rules have been violated, more laws have been broken. This is absolutely unacceptable. It is past time for the university to act to address this, to disband the encampment. and to restore order and safety to the UPenn campus.
And this is not a unique view to Philadelphia or Penn. I mean,
No.
we have seen this happen at UCLA, and we showed it to you live on this show. We've seen this happen at Columbia, in New York City. So,
University of Texas, too. All over the country.
And so I guess it was time for Penn to happen. So once again, for those who are joining us this morning, this is a live look on Penn's campus where police moved in. They showed up almost an hour ago. And you see they're moving.
But there were rumors since last night that this was going to happen, especially in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. The police were starting to stage in one of the building's basements. And so I think word spread pretty quickly on the campus that this was going to happen. They thought it was going to happen like at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it didn't happen until 5:45.
And right now we're showing people who have been arrested, but the main activity is happening at the Ben Franklin statue because that is where they have linked arms and they are lined up, and that's where police are trying to break them up.
This particular camera can get close to
Maybe
the statue.
they can zoom in because I can see the statue from here. There's a flag that's being flown. Okay, there we go. That's where they are. And police have been one by one, as you see, they have their arms linked, removing them and bringing them over to where these buses are, and, you know, arresting them. So they're probably moving around the statue, so they move toward the back of it there.
Here comes some more.
And
This
then
will take
carrying them out, literally.
It'll take a couple of hours to get them all off that statue.
But we did see, this is only a few of the folks who were in the encampment, because once police showed up and they were notified, hey, this is about to go down, some did leave.
Yeah.
And one of the other things we noticed that was a change yesterday is that we know that 6 students were placed on mandatory leaves of absence from Penn for participating in this encampment. And we were playing earlier an interview from an international student who said, listen, I'm an international student, so I don't have family here. They're not allowing me into the dorms. They're not allowing me into any of the buildings. I don't have a place to go. So things certainly have escalated in the past 24 hours, despite the fact that this Penn encampment has been here for weeks.
It has been here for a week. Well, we got commencement coming up on the 20th. We're still quite a ways, a few days away from that. But
which is an important thing to note because at other universities, they had to cancel.
Columbia, they canceled it.
And so I guess Penn, they were facing pressure. What are we going to do with commencement coming up and with the governor now speaking out about this? And Penn says that they have tried to ask the students to move, but the students have said they've made no concessions. They haven't made any type of compromises or, you know,
but
movement based on what they're calling.
The university has not made a decision about divesting from businesses that might have ties to Israel. That's what some of the students have been asking for.
So there we are taking another look. I believe this is the Ben Franklin statue. And this is actually, this gentleman we're seeing here, he was one of the spokespeople who was doing interviews earlier. And as we watch him being taken away, we do have